Hello, my name is Father D Joao, and today you're watching this Events of Christianity, and right now we're discussing case studies of the demon possessions. And for number 2 in section 2 is called the Epileptic boy to be considered. And if you can turn your Bibles to chapter 14 through 20, or chapters 17 verse 14 through 20. Number 1, before I didn't say that there's actually 7 points to this story. Real quickly, each verse has its own meaning, and this is one of the things I used from my section 1 on the first of my studies. And now we're going to be looking at this study on and what this story actually represents. And I'm going to read verse 14. And when they came out of the multitude, they came to him, a certain man kneeling down to him and saying, well, first of all, this theme for this one is the unknown, meaning during the time Christ was doing all sorts of stuff, healing people and stuff, and a man just came out of nowhere saying, can you help my boy? And basically what that part is saying, when he was kneeling down, and that is the major theme for number 1. Number 2 is from Matthew 17, chapter 17, verse 15. And verse 15 says, Lord, have mercy on my son. He's a lunatic, a sore person, and for sometimes he's fallen into fire and often into the water. And the theme for this verse is nature. What is the nature of the case? What is the Father saying to Jesus about his son? Sometimes when we don't know the nature, we don't know how to represent this case. So that's why I label this as nature. Number 3, from Matthew chapter 17, verse 16. And I brought to him thy disciples, and they could not cure him. Basically, what that meant was, the disciples could not deliver the son from the possession or help the father in this case, so they went up to Jesus, the final authority on this. And now we get into what Jesus would say in number 4 in Matthew 17 verse 17. And Jesus answered and said, O faithless and preserved generation, how long shall I be with you, and how long shall I suffer you, and bring him either to me? And basically what he was saying is, how many excuses can we come up with if we don't rely on Jesus' authority or faith with Jesus? That's one of the things in my previous studies is about having commission with God. When God gives you a commission, you must have great faith to do what seems to be the impossible task. And now we get into the main theme for number 4 is excuses. Number 5, Matthew chapter 17, verse 18. And Jesus rebuked the devil, and he barred out of him, and the child was cured from that very hour. And the theme for that one is enlightened. Jesus said, he commanded the devil to come out of him. And in some of the stories, it has been said that the child was thrown on the floor, and he was going through conversions of all sorts. Foam maybe came out of his mouth or whatnot, and Jesus rebuked the devil, and the devil came out of him. And now we're getting to number 6 of this study, Matthew 17, verse 19. And they came the disciples to Jesus in the part and said, why could we not cast him out? and that the theme of it is invisible, meaning sometimes it takes the invisible faith to bring something that is invisible out. That's why I use the invisible for this one. Number 7, Matthew chapter 17, verse 20. And Jesus said unto them, because of your unbelief, you verify, I say unto you, you will have faith of a grain of a mustard seed, and shall not say unto this mountain, remove the hence of yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible for you unto you. Basically, what that means is that if you have faith, you can move anything. If you have faith in Jesus or of Jesus, you can do almost anything at that moment. And for that, the theme for this one is called enlightenment. And that basically means is when you've been enlightenment of the case study and the nature of the possession and what does it take to deliver somebody, you've been enlightened. Alright, so number 8, chapter Matthew 17, verse 21. Howbeit this kind of goeth not out of prayer and fasting. Basically it means is through prayer and fasting you can bring your faith into another level, and having a faithful relationship with Jesus, that's the key point. It is called faithful, and that is through prayer and fasting and speaking to God and really reading His scriptures and His Bible and everything that comes with it, and keeping yourself in armed and ready at any given time when God tells you to deliver somebody. And now we're going to get into the recap for all 8 of these. First one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the main themes, and I'll be giving you the definitions. First one is unknown for number 1. Number 2 is nature. Number 3 is blind. Number 4 is excuses. Number 5 is enlightened. Number 6 is invisible. Number 7 is enlightenment. And number 8 is faithful. Now I'm going to be giving you the definitions for number 1. Not known. Number 2, controlling force. Number 3, spiritual discernment. Number lack spiritual discernment for number 3. Number 4 is justified. Number 5, to inspire. Number 6 is the hidden truth, or hidden. Number 7 is the to shed light. Number 8, to those who practices. And what I'm going to do is there's a major theme of the definitions in this, and that is to not knowing, or the controlling force of lacking the spiritual discernment to justify to the inspire the hidden truth. We are to shed light to those who practice things that are not of God. Now, what is the major theme overall of this 8 points to the story? Well, that is the unbelief. If you do unbelieve something, it does not happen, and that is the major theme for this one. And the definition for the unbelief is to fall away from an idea or to lose the instructed. Basically, that's what it means for the unbelief. When you fall away from the general focus, you lack so many different purposes that God has given you. And next we're going to be doing the conclusion of part 2. And I look forward to having you guys watch this series. And thank you for watching, and God bless.